I love having the opportunity to work with young people. While many may say that young people are misguided, self-serving, and rude, I could say that wouldn't be the truth. I believe that this generation is filled with so much fearlessness, intelligence, and promise. I stand and I confidently say that this generation will change the world. But first, you have to learn to put aside teen violence. A few weeks ago, during one of our Sunday morning services, I asked the teens to tell me about how their school years were going. I expected to hear about classes that they liked and did not like. I expected to hear them talk about teachers and about sports teams they were playing in. But what I heard was teen after teen talked about the effect that the fights that they were experiencing at school was having on them. I'm sure that if we were to poll the young people gathered here today, that they could all attest to seeing fights in their school. As I read the Freelance Star earlier this week, I saw an article about police responding to fights at one of the Stafford high schools. We've had football games canceled because of the threat of violence. A bit further north in Prince William County, we've had shots fired at youth football games. And the question must be, for what? My assignment today is to address young people in the audience, and I'm here to say to each and every one of you that you must learn how to put aside violence. Violence is not the answer, and it often leads to more violence. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, who quoted scripture from the book of Matthew, violence begets violence. Many of the fights are retaliatory. Someone is getting back at someone for something that happened earlier. The one decision that you make today to engage in violence could change the trajectory of your life. That moment you decide to solve problems with your fists has the potential to devastate your future. It used to be that when you fought, it would be over, it would be settled. But today's fights are often captured on video and shared on social media. It is not uncommon to see a teenager fight be shared on TikTok and Instagram before those videos are taken down. Young people, I want you to understand that homicide is the third leading cause of death for young people ages 10 to 24. It's the leading cause of death for non-Hispanic, Black, and African American youth. Emergency departments treat 1,000 youth for physical assault-related injuries each day. We have to do better. You can open up your internet browsers and you can find numerous examples of young entertainers who lost their life to violence. King Von was killed in a shooting. Young Dolph was killed in a shooting. Draco the Ruler was stabbed to death, and artists like Pop Smoke and PNB Rock were killed doing violent robberies. Violence is always around us, and it ends with disaster. Young people, you have to find a better way to address your problems. Understand that your actions have consequences, and the choices that you make today will affect your life. Engaging in a fight could result in suspension, serious injury, or death. I want you to take a moment right now and think about the dreams that you have. Think about the great things that you want to accomplish in life. Then think about how that one decision could affect the outcome of your life. It's not worth it. You must learn as a teenager to resolve your conflict by talking things out. You must learn now that even as a teenager, that I can't fight when I get upset. After fights, we often learn that it was simply a misunderstanding that could have been corrected had the parties simply talked. The skill of resolving conflict is something that you need to learn today because it will be with you the rest of your life. Understand that violence does not go unchecked, that the police officers that you see here today and those that are out on the street, they will rightfully arrest you and prosecute you should you engage in violence. Learn to control your emotions and your behavior. That good decision that you make today could be the impetus of you going on to success. I want to encourage you today to dream big. That doctor that cures cancer could be in the audience today. That next great lawyer, businessman, medical professional, public servant, that next great athlete and entertainer who will transcend their profession could be here today. Don't let the lure of violence and retaliation stop you from being the best that you can be. We understand that many of you have suffered from trauma. Many of you are angry. Many of you have not learned how to redirect your feelings and your emotions to positive behavior. That is why we must support you. We must resource our schools. We must serve as mentors and provide you with guidance. We see you, We love you and we want the best for you. While I was a law student at the University of Maryland in Baltimore City, I had the opportunity to work with several youth programs and initiatives. I worked with teenagers from the juvenile justice system, many of whom were there because they engaged in fights in their school. I worked with teens in diversion programs, and I don't claim that every one of them made it, but what I saw was young people who learned how to make good decisions, who learned how to resolve conflict without violence. I become proud every time I open my Facebook account and I see one of them graduating from college and grad school, being productive in their communities and raising families. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, your future is bright, and I want to encourage you, your past does not define you. You can still make it, you can still turn your life around, and you can be successful. I speak success over your life today. I speak blessings over your life. The man you are looking at today, I've made some mistakes. I didn't take high school seriously. I graduated with a 1.7 grade point average. That, however, didn't stop me from going to college. It didn't stop me from going to law school. It didn't stop me from working at one of the top law firms in the country. And it didn't stop me from moving over to the federal government and becoming a director of a litigation office. You can do it. You can make it. Understand that your community is behind you. We want to see you do your best. We want you to see you be nonviolent. And as I close with my favorite scripture from Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has plans for every one of you, and that is for you to be prosperous and for you to succeed. Thank you very much.